Tonight. All right, I think we are live in Facebook and YouTube and now in Instagram. So, hello everyone, welcome. My name is Chanel Renee, and I am excited about tonight. Q&A. Our faith talk is usually on Monday evenings at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I am excited to have Dr. Cassandra Bolar on here, and she's going to be sharing with us some really great information about the complexities of blended families and how to navigate through those waters as a marriage and family expert. So I'm so grateful to have you, Dr. Cassandra. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Most definitely. I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm really passionate about marriages and families. A little bit of my background, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm also a psychology professor, as well as a family researcher. And I look a lot at fatherhood and father involvement. And a lot of my work focuses on fathers' past experiences with their own fathers and how that impacts their mental health, relationship quality. And I'm just really on a mission to help restore marriages, through research-based, biblical, as well as practical information, and help people create a legacy of love that lasts for many generations to come. So that's just kind of what my mission is all about. And I'm really grateful to be here and talking with you on tonight.
Awesome. Thank you once again for sharing and coming on and giving us a little bit of your time. Looks like on Instagram they cannot hear you. On Instagram, I'm not sure what's going on. Can you guys hear us on Facebook? They're saying they can't hear you on Instagram.
Okay, hopefully they can hear me now, but I think it's an echo when I turn it on.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Okay. Do you have any headphones or anything? Okay, so they can hear you on Facebook right now.
I do have some headphones. It may I have to take a second to get them, but I can get them.
Okay, that's because Instagram want to hear you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Facebook, y'all can hear, so wonderful. Thank you so much. While we are waiting, we are going to invite a few friends to join us live. And while I'm inviting a few friends, I want to invite you all to invite a few friends, be an evangelist, and invite a few friends. Instagram, we are going to. She is coming right back with her headphones so that you guys can hear her as well. But we right now are inviting some people to join us, and we are going to get started. Miss Sunshine, yes, we are. She is coming right back, and we're gonna fix that technical difficulty because we want to get you all this information. All right. So while we are waiting on Facebook, let me know. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. You may have to type in your name because some of the comments we can't see who you are. So we definitely want to give you a shout out. And then again, use this platform as an opportunity to type in your questions as well. All right. So I don't understand why I can't see on Facebook. Okay, so Instagram, can you guys hear?
Can you hear me now?
Can Instagram, can y'all hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, can y'all hear Dr. Cassandra now?
Can you hear me now?
That's the one you need to hear. She is the one you need to hear. Okay, so they can hear you.
Awesome.
Yay! Awesome. So she was just telling us that she is a expert. She's a marriage expert, and she's really on a mission to one of the things I got from that was father involvement and the importance of fathers. Can you tell us just a little bit about that? Because I'm an advocate for fathers being involved, healthy fathers and healthy mothers being involved in the children's lives, but specifically fathers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
What we know from the research is that fathers add something qualitative and unique to the lives of their children. Um, and
And with that, it's so important, having that unique involvement. We see that it has, added benefits for children, also to added benefits just across the board when we're thinking about family functioning. And so I look primarily at intergenerational fathering and looking at how your past experiences with your own father, how that impacts your mental health, namely depression, and how that impacts your relationship quality as well as father involvement. And so, what we are seeing, looking at some research from the Fragile Families data set, is that fathers who maybe didn't have the best of involvement with their own fathers have a higher likelihood of experiencing depression.
Mm.
And then from there, that can negatively impact their intimate relationship quality and in turn also possibly their parental engagement.
Okay. So the depression that we probably don't speak about in the fathers when they didn't have a healthy relationship with their fathers is, I guess, infiltrating into their relationship with their children.
Yes, most definitely, because when we think about it, like context matters. So your mental health is definitely going to matter with your parenting. And we were looking at it intergenerationally, like sometimes these cycles get repeated.
Mm.
And what's really interesting about men is that depressive symptomatology in men looks a lot different than it does in women. Sometimes, women, it may be quite apparent that they're sad, but sometimes it may not even look like depression for men. It can look entirely different. And instead of being internalizing behaviors, softer, sadder emotions, it may be things such as aggression, or it could be irritability, or it could be risk-taking behavior,
Mm-hmm.
And some of those things. And so, oh my gosh, it can be really interesting to see some of the differences there and looking at this across time.
Gotcha. So going forward with that, what would you say to a new father, or an existing father who may not know this information and now is getting this information now? What would you say to that father, um, who may be experiencing those same symptoms, and now that he knows how it may be affecting his new, the new generation coming up? What would you say to that father to make sure that he establishes or does everything in his power to establish a healthy relationship with his children, if possible?
I would just say that your role is essential. That in your role is significant, and that you are enough. It doesn't require perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can learn as you go. I think we're all learning as we go. There's no manual to parenting.
Mm-hmm.
But that they have within their hands an opportunity to create the type of legacy that they want, regardless of the legacy that they came from. And one thing that I always say is that the legacy of healthy relationships starts with you. And that, understanding that it's our opportunity to be the parents or wives that we've always wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a beautiful opportunity to, like, you are enough. Like, who you are is critical, for your child's development, and no one can replace you. No one can replace what you have to give, which is more than money could ever provide.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So tonight we're talking about blended families, and the importance of people, mothers and fathers, being present in a blended family. And sometimes the biological father may not be present. It may be just the bonus father, being present. Can you talk to us a little bit about what a healthy, what does a healthy blended family look like? Is there a model for that, or is there like a visual that we can kind of a template or something that you can share with us tonight?
Well, one thing, every family is so different. So there may not necessarily be a particular template, but we do want to make sure that there's open access for all the important parents involved in the lives of that child. And so we want to make sure that there's probably, open communication on both sides, regardless of who is residing within the family. And it takes time to forge this new culture, and sometimes even understanding the grieving that could potentially be going on even for the children. But here's the thing, is that blended families are the majority. This is like not something that is on the margin. This is most out of all the marriages, most marriages are a remarriage for at least one of the parties. And so, with that, a lot of times, people are building blended families, and they're bringing children along, or even if they haven't been married before, they may have children from previous relationships. And so this is the reality for most families. And finding a flow that works well for you, and making sure that those children and their well-being is kind of brought to the forefront as well. But being a united front, there are a lot of new dynamics that you have to navigate when you are operating and walking into a blended family. And give yourself grace and give yourself time. One thing that I always recommend, if you are not the biological parent when it comes to parenting, you have to show that you care before you can correct.
Okay, that's good. That's
you
good.
have to show that you care before you can correct. And it's like any new relationship. It takes time to develop. Just because there is a label, or just because there is a new forging of a relationship between the parents, doesn't mean that there's a long-standing relationship with the children. And so you need to give yourself grace if you are the non-biological parent, and give that child an opportunity to build a relationship with them, because that child needs to know that you care before you can go in and correct. And I think that once you get to that place, that the parents have to be on a united front before they even, address certain things, because now we have all these new dynamics in play.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good. That's good. I love how you said show that you care before you can correct. Hold on just a second. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback because I want to make sure Facebook can hear you. I think you muted on Facebook, but this technical difficulty, I'm sorry. Someone said, love this as a blended family mom and also a parent educator. Caring matters, gives grace. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, showing that you care as the bonus parent, showing that you care, what are some opportunities for support that bonus parent can give to that partner or even to the child to, I guess not necessarily earn the right to correct, but be a part of that process where, we're providing structure in the home?
Hands down, I think to win anyone, you have to show interest in them. And so let them know that the things that they care about, that you show an interest in them. And it's what we do for adult relationships in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because real parenting is influence, and influence even when you are not there. And so if you can show an interest in them, and even with the parents, letting them know that I'm interested in what that child's day-to-day experience is like. What are their particular interests? Like even asking them questions, showing this genuine curiosity, not like necessarily a brown nosing, but just really a genuine curiosity about like your world, because I'm a part of your world now, and I want to let you know that you belong here. We all belong here, and belonging is a critical need for human beings, and especially children. So I even teach that sometimes in my human growth and development course about some of the basic needs of children, and they need to feel accepted. They need to feel like they belong. And so now that there's a new dynamic, we want to make sure that every person feels accepted and that they belong. And when you show that genuine interest, that is care. And then you're starting to lay the foundation, and it's just like relationship building. Relationship building takes time, and giving yourself grace for that. And even depending upon what their last transition looked like or how long it was ago, giving that child some time to process that. And then thinking about where their child is developmentally. So if that child is younger, they're going to process it very differently than a teenager.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
so even considering the longevity of the time that they had in the previous situation, and maybe, even the grieving that they have there. So you probably are very eager because you want to
Yeah.
kind of set up house and feel like, that everything is one, but it takes some time. Give yourself
Yeah.
give yourself that time. And the beautiful thing is that you have a lifetime to build these relationships,
Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely.
so you have a
Yeah.
lifetime to build these relationships, and just being encouraged in that respect, as well. But
Yeah.
there are some uncontrollable variables as well, like
Hmm.
when it comes to a blended family. Like,
Hmm.
as much as you want to control the environment within the immediate household, but there are other variables outside of there. And I know you were saying, like, what's the template? We just want to make sure that there's ease and peace with any variables that have to come in contact with the culture that you guys are creating.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I love how you said the development is different, between a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
How you connect may be different. They also may be experiencing some emotional uh, ups and downs. They may be in transitional periods in their own lives. And also, again, grieving perhaps the loss of the other parent, that now, dad's no longer in the house that I'm in, or he doesn't reside in the house that I'm living in, or mom is not in the house that I'm living in, or mom is in a whole nother state, or dad's in a whole nother state. So there's so many things that they're trying to process. And one of the things that I hear sometimes, Dr. Cassandra, is that the kid needs to come and put some effort into building a relationship. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because we're adults, and it's a child. So can you tell us just a little bit about, from your experience and what you see as a family therapist, what your professional opinion is about that, the child coming for going after the bonus parent?
Well, the thing about it, even young children, even toddlers, um, we are vying for control
Hmm.
over their space, over their lives. And in this situation, they didn't have any type of probably influence or
Yeah.
say over it, and they are, the child. And I know it can be disheartening when you don't see um, maybe any interest or any leeway from the child, but there's something so powerful about kindness and
Hmm.
showing an interest. Like, eventually that can wear down walls. And when we're thinking about it cognitively and even with emotional maturity and intelligence,
Hmm.
when we're thinking about the rational part of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, is not fully developed until a person is 25 years of age. And
Hmm.
so I just always lean into whoever's most mature to make the first move. And in this case, it's always going to be the adult. And I know it can be disheartening because you have these hopes, you have these dreams, and you have the desires for how you want the culture of the home to feel and look like, but you have a lifetime to create it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to push too much because you don't want to. This is a very vulnerable, delicate time at this time, so you don't want to push them too far as well. Um, and as well. So I think I see a question here too, but
Yes.
that's just, I would, I always lean on whoever is the most mature, make the first move and continue to make that move and know that kindness is almost like, even though it's very soft, it's like a hammer. And
Yeah.
kindness kind of really breaks down walls. It's a
Mm.
very powerful strategy to build relationship, even in places that are hardened.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. I think that really goes in with this question. T said, how can you show interest as a step parent again to your bonus child after the biological parent betrayed your trust and is never home to support the family? Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah. Um, here's the thing. A lot of times in these situations, so this child may be having some trust issues and some trust concerns because it's kind of like, wow, if this child can't even depend on their biological parent, then they may just be looking at adults differently. But the beautiful thing is the only way that we develop relationships is through Shasta. I forgot her last name. I think her name is Shasta Nelson. She talks about this concept called frientimacy.
Mm.
And it's these three components of positivity, vulnerability, and consistency.
Mm.
And, unfortunately, this child's trust has been probably broken and shattered, and there are probably residual negative effects that it's had on their self worth, their self esteem, just other areas that this could be operating in.
Mhm.
But the power of those three elements of creating positive experiences with them, being vulnerable with them and doing it consistently, that builds bonds.
Good.
And if you do that thing, it's your consistency is going to help wear down the probably lack of trust that they have in adults. But give yourself time, because like if they were betrayed by their own biological parent, it's probably going to take even more time than it would normally because of those wounds of the betrayal. And a lot of times children look inwardly and they wonder, well, what is it about me? And
Mm.
and so if you can speak life into that child and remind them of their worth, remind them of their value as you're getting to know them, then it can help them to um, kind of regain a new concept of themselves outside of even that parental figure.
Mhm.
And so give you that's hard, because that means that's hard. That's hard as a child to grapple with. And not only is that hard for a child to grapple with, but that's even hard for an adult to grapple with.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and if that happened with
Mhm.
an adult, if they did that to the child, they probably betrayed the adult as well. But
Mhm.
you already have evidence that your love has conquered some mistrust with the parent.
Mm.
So you have evidence that your love is powerful and
Absolutely.
with the parent. And so apply that and use that as almost a confidence booster, for winning over that beautiful child. um,
Yeah.
and sometimes we may be, you may, as the bonus parent, may be an opportunity to show them that
Mhm.
you are loved and that
Mhm.
you are valuable despite what your biological parent may have done.
Yes. Yes. I see this quite a bit, Dr. Cassandra, with blended families, and sometimes people losing faith and losing hope because they don't see the evidence of why. Um, they just don't, they lose faith because they don't see the evidence of their efforts being productive, and the product doesn't seem like, their effort doesn't seem like it's being it's being rewarded at all. And so one of the things I try to remind people is that, God placed you in their life for a reason.
Mhm.
And so how do parents, bonus parents, even biological parents that are sometimes maybe feel torn between their children and their marriage, what are some strategies that you can share for them to renew their faith?
Yeah, it can be hard because, the marriage is the foundation of the
Mm-hmm.
family. And you want
Mm-hmm.
that to definitely be like rock solid.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
A united front, because that's what forged this whole beautiful blended family, was the love between the adults.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think honestly just having a balance between um, couple time
Mm-hmm.
bonding, family bonding, and then parent to child bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is, and I think too, just because you're the biological parent, like you may still need to like reinforce that bond as well with the child. And so
Yeah.
having some one-on-one time with the biological parent and the child or children, and even like maybe some, warming up to having one-on-one time
Mm-hmm.
with the bonus parent, and it could just be taking an interest. Hey, I know you got basketball practice on. Let me give you a ride, and
Yeah.
and well, how was practice, and well, how's everything going on the team, and just little. I mean, that's all natural.
Yeah.
And easy too.
How can someone spot? Because I know I see some people joining that are single, and they want to blend their families or blend with someone. How can a person that is single? What are some key things to look for to make sure that this will be a great fit, not only just for them but also for their children?
Oh, hands down, because it's like you're not just dating for you. You're
Right. We're a
Uh,
package deal.
yeah, it's a package deal. And even like, how do they talk about the kids once you introduce them? Are they family oriented? Are they, do they like kids?
Mm-hmm,
Do
mm-hmm.
they like your kids?
Right.
Are they friendly? Are they patient? Are they kind? Do they display characteristics that you think would be optimal for parenting? If they have their own children, that's good too. Like, how do they treat their own kiddos? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and how do they even view children? Do they view them oh, those are your kids over there, or
That
are
part.
these our kids?
Mm-hmm.
As well. So that's something to consider as well.
Absolutely. And what are the I've seen this as well. What are the rules for, like you said, my kids versus your kids, blending the household, the expectations together. What does that discussion, what are some healthy tips for that discussion? Because the households may be different. And like you said, if they have kids, I think that's a really great opportunity to kind of observe, what type of parenting style they have or don't have to see if, that blends well with your parenting style.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think one thing you want to talk, I think like their kids, your kids, I think you have to think about it from the perspective of the child.
mhm,
Like, what do you think they would want?
mhm,
And, you know, as a, like, if you are the bonus parent, like, what is it like for this child to now have their home opened up to a new person? How would they like to be received?
mhm.
How would they like to be named? And you may even just want to talk to the child about that. You may come in with the best of heart and like, that's my baby over there. And they're like, oh, I got a daddy or I got a mama. Or,
Yeah.
and so you want to honor that child's wishes, or they could be like, or there could be a estrangement. And, they're like, eager to
Mhm.
have a parental figure and eager to say, "Oh, this is my new parent. This is," and
Yeah.
so you may want to hear directly from the child to know kind of, what how they want to be um, the terminology that they want to be used
Gotcha.
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
There's definitely some complexities there because
Oh
there's a
yeah.
lot to consider. There's
Mhm.
definitely a lot to consider. And then perhaps even having more discussion about the history with that parent, as
Mhm.
opposed to trying to gather all of this from the child that may not be ready to disclose that with you,
Oh, hands
you know.
down. So there's so much conversation that has to go on between the couple,
Mhm.
and there are just so many multi layers to it, and just honestly, just being gentle. I think sometimes we're so concerned. People are so concerned that they're going to mess up, say the wrong thing. But I think that if you go in with a gentle heart, even if you don't do everything perfectly, like there will hopefully be a grace for you because they see your efforts, they see your kindness, they see your heart.
Mhm.
And then if you make mistakes, just acknowledge it and apologize.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because we all do. We have
Yeah.
the best we have the best intentions, but the application may not be the best.
Yeah.
So I have another question. How long, and I've done a little bit of study on this, but how long does it usually take for all of these things to kind of line up? Where
Mm.
everybody's on the same page.
Oh, it takes a minute, and it also depends on, honestly, it depends on a lot of factors. So usually, if it was a divorce that separated the original family, most times it takes about 2 years for that family to get to a state of equilibrium.
Hmm.
And then sometimes during that time, if the children aren't doing well, you may see behaviors,
Hmm.
attention seeking behaviors, but it takes about 2 years for that family to kind of get back to a sense of equilibrium. And then now, when you're thinking about forging a new family, it depends on all the factors. Who's all living there? Are they living there on a consistent basis? Are they living here for a period of time, living there for a period of time? That's definitely going to prolong it because they have different home environments and home cultures to kind of get
Yes.
adjusted to and get adapted to. And so after that forging of the new family is not automatic. It's
Yeah.
years.
Hmm.
I would say
Yeah.
give it another 2 years at least.
Yes.
At
Yes.
least to and that's just to kind of get some sense of groove. But
Hmm.
it probably is going to take longer than that, especially depending upon the age of the children, the nature of the previous situation, and even the outside variables. So that
Yes.
that you may not necessarily be able to control. So there's so many factors involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So patience is key.
Yeah.
Patience and grace. Patience and
Hmm.
grace. Patience and grace. Um, so I think I have one more question. I think in closing, because I know that this we can talk for hours and hours and hours on this topic because there's so many different variables and different dynamics. But if there was one single unique quality that a healthy blended family has, what would that be?
One quality,
Yeah.
I would say harmony.
Mm.
And the reason why I would say harmony is that harmony, it all sounds good, but we're not all singing the same pitch. We're not all singing the same notes.
Hmm.
So I'm still able to come with my uniqueness,
Hmm.
but I'm able to blend with your sound in a way that actually creates harmony.
Hmm.
Harmony in sound and then harmony in the environment. And so that even though we're blending these different pieces, when they all come together, the sound is good for all of the unique components involved. And there's a sense of harmony that is created. And that's what honestly everybody was looking for.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's powerful. That's powerful. So harmony. Everybody is not the same.
No, and everybody's not singing the same note, you know.
Yes.
I'm not good with music. I'm tone deaf. I get picked on all the time. That is not my gift. But I do know a little bit, and and so I just know that everybody's not singing the same note, but you may have an alto, you may have a soprano, you may have a tenor, but they're singing at this high pitch because that's what they're used to. But when we bring it together, it blends. It
Yes.
sounds good, and it honestly sounds better than it would if we were singing by ourselves
Mm-hmm.
or in
Wow.
unison.
Wow. So there's no pressure to be something that you're not.
There's no pressure.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So is there anything that you would like to share? And then of course I want you to tell people how to find you and all of that. But is there any encouragement that you would like to give to someone that is in a blended situation or blended family, or someone that is looking to blend their
Yeah.
families?
Give yourself grace and let love lean into the love. Like the love is what started the process of this whole new family. And try not to let the challenges eat away at the very foundation of what brought this all together. And
Wow.
just build upon the love. And when you build upon the love, you're building a sound house. It's rock solid. And the reality, whether you are a blended family or not, storms come.
Mm-hmm.
Storms come. That is life. But when you follow, I think that there are practical things that you can do, and there are also biblical things that you can do. And God says, when you follow this way, you'll be likened unto a wise man who built his house upon the rock. And when the waters came, the floods came, the winds blew, his house stood. So just know that when you build it on that foundation of love, and you build it on that foundation of kindness, and you let that be the rock, the storms don't have to move your house.
Yes, that's powerful. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Love never fails. True love never fails.
Yeah.
So yes. Those kiddos, they'll get it. They just may take a little bit of time to observe and trust and believe that you are who you say you are.
Yeah, it will. And then when they see that love, they see the joy that you bring their other parent, that is compelling.
Yes. You stressing that other parent out, don't. It's gonna be even harder.
Yes.
So stop stressing that other parent out.
Yes. It is. It's very compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
very love is compelling. Like that's how we're all drawn in by love.
Mm-hmm.
And you can draw them in by love too.
Absolutely. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, Dr. Cassandra. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for a few moments and just
Oh yeah,
sharing
my
your
pleasure.
expertise and wisdom. It's always I always love to listen to you.
Oh,
You just have just a well of wisdom and knowledge and
thank
grace, and I'm just so honored to know you and to
Same here. Same
yes,
here.
and to be able to call you my friend. We don't have to
Yes.
talk all the time, but
Yes.
you are an amazing woman and woman of God. So thank you so much. Can you tell people, I want to type this in the comments, how they can find you? And of course, I want you guys all to follow her. If you're not following her already, make sure you follow her because she has a powerful platform for those of you that are married. You definitely want to follow her for all of her tips because she pours it out. She pours it out on us. Okay, so definitely follow her. But what is your website? I think
Oh yes,
I can type
it's
your website.
upliftingrelationships.com, and then we have a Facebook community called the Uplifting Relationships Community, or it's just called Uplifting Relationships Community on Facebook, and we have so many resources there. We do challenges here and there, and just free content. to uplift your relationships. And then on Instagram, I'm at dr_Cassandra.
Awesome. Your website is Uplifting Relationships.
.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay, .com. So I'm just going to type that in. And then from there, you guys can follow her on her social media pages, Uplifting Relationships on Facebook, right?
Uplifting Relationships Community.
Community. And then also on Instagram, you can follow Dr. Cassandra, is it Dr. underscore Cassandra?
Dr.
Underscore Cassandra. Yes. You can follow her there as well. But you will be blessed. I'm telling you, you will be blessed. Just by her ministry, she's an amazing. When I tell you, I'm not just saying that, but she's an amazing woman, and I've enjoyed knowing. I think it's been a couple of years now. We've known each other a couple of years. So thank you so much for joining us tonight and pouring into us. And have an amazing rest of your evening. Okay, have an amazing rest of your evening, everybody, as well. And we will see y'all next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.